Hi everybody, it's Catherine from the Pink Designs. My project today is from the new mini catalog that goes live on July 1st. It is Best Witches stamp set. It's a cling and it has 4 images and 3 sentiments. Alrighty. I also used the Black and White Designs Designer Series paper, which is coming out on the 1st also, and some black and white gingham paper with ribbon, which is already out. Alrighty, I also used the stitched rectangle dies for the window and the Tailor Made tags for the tag. Alrighty, so what we need for this project is 2 pieces of the Black and White Designer Series paper, Black and White Designs Designer Series paper, that are 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, and one that is 2 1/4 by 3/4. We need a window sheet that is 3 1/2 by 2. We need a scrap of pumpkin pie for the sentiment. We need a piece of gorgeous grape that is 7 1/2 by 6 1/2, and some basic white for stamping. Alright, so let's start with our piece of gorgeous grape, and we're going to start on the 7 1/2 inch side. And if I ever do make a mistake on the measurements, check my blog. I know it was a double whammy, I think 2 videos ago, when I made a mistake what I said, and my blog post didn't go up. So I'm very sorry about that. But my blog is linked below, and the post should be up at the same exact time as the video. Alright, 7 1/2 inch side, we're going to score at 1, 3 1/2, 4 1/2, and 7. Then we're going to turn it to the 6 1/2 inch side and score at 1 and 5 1/2. Alrighty. Okay, now we're going to fold and burnish. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. Now your skinniest rectangle is on the right hand side, and there are 1 inch strips on the top and bottom. And this is what we're going to do. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is cut it. So we're going to start over on the left hand side, and we're going to go to the first score line, cut it straight to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Go to the other side of this rectangle and cut it straight. Go over the square and cut the other side straight to the first. And then we're going to just wedge all sides of the square. Okay. Then we're going to go to the other side of this rectangle, cut it straight to the first score line, and then wedge up a little bit into the piece above it. Okay. Now we're going to turn it 180 so that the skinny rectangle is on the left-hand side. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it straight, and then wedge up into the piece above it. Okay. Now for this side, this is our flap on the front. We don't need any of this. So we're going to go to the first score line here after we cut off this one. So the next score line, and then get rid of 2 squares and a rectangle. Alright. Then we're going to bring in a corner rounder, and we're going to round the corners of our flap. Goodness gracious. Oh my Lord. I missed the detail trio punch. Okay. Good. Alright. Okay, now I don't usually put my DSP on first, but we have to because we're going to cut the window using this die from the Stitched Rectangles dies. Alright, so we need one of our pieces of Black and White Designs DSP. That is, again, 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to put it on with Stamp and Seal, because when we put it through the machine, if we put liquid glue, it will squeeze it out. And I want to make sure that this is well attached and it won't squeeze out. So I'm going to put it to the one that doesn't have the flap attached, because this is going to be our front panel right here. Okay, and then I'm going to take this rectangle from the rectangle stitch dies is about 2 7/8 this way by 1 1/2 this way. All right, and we're going to put it about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Okay, because I made one earlier. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. And I didn't make it long enough, and the flap covered the top of the rectangle. So just make it so that it is about 1/2 inch up from the edge of the DSP. All right, and then I'm going to put some low-tack tape on it. And I'm going to fold this down, and then I'm going to run it through my machine. Well, actually like this, but make sure you fold it down so it doesn't get cut off or wrinkled. Okay, my camera cut out on the whole last half of the video, so this is actually the 4th time I'm doing it. Okay, so I just cut out the window with the rectangle stitch die, and what we have to do before we put it together is put the window sheet on. So this window sheet is 3 1/2 by 2. It's going to be going on like that. And all I have at the moment is these ratchet glue dots because I lost them. They have the backing on them, and it's a real pain. I bought them, a new pack, and I just ran out, and I don't know, now this one's on my nail. I don't know what happened to them when I moved down here, so I'm going to have to buy another pack when I order next. But for the immediate future, this is it. It's just a pain because sometimes it doesn't come off of the backing, and then these little squares stick on everything. I'm going to put one in all 4 corners, and then one in the middle of the long side. All right, and on the inside of the window, it's a little piece. There we go. Oh, goodness. Okay. On the inside of the window, I'm just going to place it so that none of the glue dots show through the window, so that we have a nicely even front. Okay, so then we're going to use some tear tape, and unfortunately I put every last supply away. All of these markers I put in their right spot. Goodness gracious. Okay, and I'm going to put some tear and tape on what's left of the skinny rectangle and take the backing off. I'm going to flip it and then flip the other side to meet it. Something happened here, probably when I put it through the cutter. Okay, so this is our front right here. So we're going to put the sides and the back down, and this is where we're going to put some more tear and tape. And you can use liquid glue on all of this. I just, for the sake of being fast on video, I like the tape so it dries quick. Okay. Now I'm just going to undo this. I'm going to take out my Twix bars because I have no more left. Oop, there's only 2 in this one. All right, so I'll put 1, 2. And then I'm going to squeeze the sides just at the top, and however far it goes down is how it goes. It's fine. All right, so that's the box. Now we can put our other piece of DSP that is 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. And our piece that is 2 1/4 by 3/4, we have to round one corner of one of the long sides. All right, and then we'll let that dry, and we're going to do some stamping. So we need our scrap of basic white of pumpkin pie, and our basic white, and some Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to stamp the witch right there. And the frog on the basic white. Great. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment on to the pumpkin pie cardstock, and you want to put it so that you have enough room for the beginning of the tag to be cut out. Okay? Alrighty. Okay, I already cut out the tag, and I fussy cut the witch and the frog. Now we're going to do some coloring. All right, let's start with light smoky, dark smoky slate. And we're going to do the inside of the hat. Okay. And we're going to use dark Highland heather for the hat band. And the dress. And be careful that the top here, it looks like a little collar, but it's actually from the cape, so you don't want to do those in purple. I mean, it's not a big deal if you do, but I think it's part of the cape. Okay. Now we're going to get light basic black, and we're going to do the cape and the rest of the hat. All right. Then we're going to use dark pumpkin pie for the buckle and the legs. I'm considering them tights. All right, now for the cheeks, I'm going to use first some Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just going to make cheeks on both sides. Darn, that's a little big. All right, and then I'm going to take some dark Petal pink. I'm going to go over all of the cheeks and the rest of the face. And when you go over it a couple of times, it's going to just blend out the cheeks. Okay. All right, and then we need to do the hands. Okay, let me just fix. Okay. All right, and then we need some dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to put a little bit on these pieces of hair up there and fill in the hair. and the broom head here. Okay, and then dark crumb cake for the broom handle. Okay, now for the frog. I'm going to use light and dark granny apple green, and I'm just going to do a little bit of dark, like in where the legs meet, the feet, and the rest of the bottom. And maybe underneath the mouth there. All right, and then I'm just going to color the rest with light granny apple green. All right, and that's the frog. I don't know if I showed you. That's the witch. All right. Now we have, where is, here it is. Okay. All right. Now let's put our witch on right on the side like this, and we're going to use dimensionals and mini dimensionals. And we're going to put it with the feet just below the edge of the rectangle. Oops. And some of the hat coming off the side. Okay, now we're going to close this, and I'm going to get my crocodile. What you need is a 1/4 inch hole. I don't have that in another one, so I'm going to use just one hole in the middle here. And if you don't have a crocodile, you can use a regular one and make a pencil mark, punch it, and then make a pencil mark. All right, and then I'm going to use this black and white gingham ribbon, and I'm just going to put it through. And I'm just going to tie, make sure it's closed, and then tie it. Okay. And we have our label that we cut out the sentiment on, and we're just going to put the frog on there with liquid glue. Oops. Okay. Then I'm going to just clip this bottom one here. Okay, and I'm just going to feed the sentiment onto the right side of the ribbon, and that will keep it out of the way of our witch. And then I'm just going to tie a bow. Okay, then I'm just going to trim the ends to match. Okay. And for the final touch, I'm just going to take some Wink of Stella glitter. Okay, I'm going to put Wink of Stella on the frog since he's got a spell on him. On the hat band and the dress. And a little on the broom. It's just a very fine glitter that dries really quick, so I like it. All right, and that's it. If you have any questions, you can contact me at the email that's listed below. And also, my link for purchasing from my shop through Stampin' Up is below, the link to join, and the link to my blog, which will have all the measurements on it. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll get notification when I upload a video. And have a great weekend. I will see you next time. Bye.